It's morphin' time!
Pterodactyl! Hi there, this is Doctor with Rangers of Wrestling, bringing your WWE Raw Night 2 draft review. And I apologize for starting late. I got home late and I missed the whole first hour, so I had to catch up on Raw. And joining me for this review, please welcome from Michael Chow TV. He is the host that runs the West Coast and apparently WWE's free agent, Halloween Michael Chow. Hi, Michael.
Am I correct? Am I correct to hear that you said that you were late coming home from work and you had to miss the first half an hour of Raw?
The first 1 hour.
I envy you so much. Why did I come home on time to watch the actual full 3-hour show of Raw?
Well, I actually, that's why I'm starting late, because I need to watch the full hour to do this. Alrighty.
Thanks for having me back on the show, by the way.
Of course. Always a pleasure having you, Halloween Michael Chow.
Thank you. Boo. So spooky, yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Michael's actual nickname is Hollywood Michael Chow. Mm-hmm. But if you've been on his channel, you would know that he accidentally called himself Halloween Michael Chow on his Halloween Kills review. And I told him the next time he came on my stream, I was going to call him Halloween Michael Chow.
I know, it was me trying to be funny like Becky Lynch on commentary. But like my joke and Becky Lynch on commentary, it did not work out. And it was not funny. So, shame on me.
All right, so Monday Night Raw kicked off with the SmackDown Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. And she talked about how it's been almost a whole year she's been in that ring. She's talking about the Raw ring, by the way. And that she is the longest reigning Raw champion, and that she never lost a title. I knew that was going to come up. I mentioned that was going to come up. And that she wants to be Becky 2 belts again. Mm. And then Charlotte Flair comes out and says that Becky used to be like her. She used to be Becky pre-show. And she'll always look up to Charlotte. Then guess who comes out? Bianca BelAir, saying that she has unfinished business with the both of them because he cheap shotted her last time.
Choo choo! Everyone get on the promo train. Choo choo!
Yep. And then Charlotte says she doesn't disrespect Bianca, but says, she says she doesn't even know how Charlotte. No, she says that Charlotte disrespected her, but Charlotte says that she didn't disrespect her. Hi, Steve. Shout out to Steve. And that Charlotte said that Bianca has done just as much as her. And then basically Charlotte says that she gives out opportunities and that she's not charity, which ends up leading to Charlotte versus Bianca. More on that later. What were your thoughts on this opening segment?
Well, if I may add, you forgot to add in that Becky Lynch has superpowers because she is a psychic, because she was able to predict that she's going number 1 in the draft before they announced it. Becky 2 belts is now Becky, forget freaking Nikki A.s.h. when Becky's the one with superpowers and she was able to predict that she's going number 1 in the draft. And there's all this was a horrible promo. I'm sorry. It was so bad. There was a point in here where Becky was like, hey, you know what? You two have never gone against each other. Why don't you guys do it? Which, by the way, is not true because Bianca BelAir faced Charlotte Flair on NXT last year. And
MLB insert MIB GIF here.
Yep, flash. And poor Corey Graves had to say for the rest of the show that Bianca BelAir versus Charlotte Flair for the first time on Raw because the fans will attack us that they already faced each other. But other than that, this was a horrible promo. And before the entire universe attacks the chat room, it has nothing to do with the fact that they were female at all. If Roman Reigns, the champion from SmackDown, and Biggie, the champion from Raw, and I had to pick a random person to be the Bianca BelAir character, let's say Matt Riddle, those three were in the ring, and they gave the exact same promo that these three people in the ring gave, it would have been just as bad. And it's moments like this where I watch this promo and I said that I will only watch a 3-hour Raw for your show because this was seriously the first couple of minutes, and Raw is off to a horrible start. This was a horrible, horrible promo and a horrible, horrible segment. That is my take.
I want to apologize, Michael, for putting you through this torture. Rest assured, it's not going to happen next week unless you want to. And number 2, it's always a pleasure having you on my show. And if you don't want to do Raw, hey, you don't have to do Raw. There's always Dynamite, SmackDown, and Rampage, or Impact if you watch Impact.
It's okay. I talk trash, but I always am curious on whether or not Raw still sucks. Spoiler alert, it is. So there you go.
All right. So after this horrendous promo, we get the first round of draft picks. And
who's going number 1 in the draft? I must know.
It's none other than the SmackDown Women's Champion, Becky Lynch.
Whoa!
She gets drafted.
This is surprising. This is surprising as of everything but last 10 minutes when Becky said she was drafted number 1.
I know.
This blew my mind. Wow.
Number 2 is the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos. They get sent to, surprisingly, SmackDown.
Huh. So you're telling me that one of the best storylines on SmackDown is whether or not Paul Heyman would be able to get the Usos to be drafted to SmackDown, and if he didn't do it, Roman Reigns would legitimately kill him? Oh, I'm sorry, the Usos would kill him, and they went ahead and solved that storyline within a period of 10 minutes?
Oh, hold on. There's more to that story later down the show.
Fair enough.
If you caught Heyman in the back, he was saying, thank you. If you caught him in the back. Pick number 3 is Bobby Lashley getting sent to Monday Night Raw.
Hold on. I don't have my glasses, but can I do my best Bobby Lashley expression? You know how they do the draft picks and they show them? I'm going to use my cell phone as sunglasses. You have to imagine that these are sunglasses, but this is Bobby Lashley. Are you guys ready? Here you go. All right. I am an actor. Datila, you know this outside of the show. I am an actor.
Michael's an actor.
This is my Bobby Lashley impression. There you go. This is sunglasses.
You won the Oscar for Best Acting. The Emmy. Wait, Emmy, right? Because that's TV. Emmy.
Thank you so much. By the way, bless Bobby Lashley. He tried his best, but what the heck was that?
Yeah, definitely. And the last draft pick, number 4, Sasha Banks to SmackDown.
Ooh, good.
So then after this, we get the U.S. title match between Damian Priest and Jeff Hardy. I actually thought this was a pretty good match. It seemed like it was a quick match. Jeff Hardy lost after he did the Swanton Bomb, and Damian Priest was able to get a roll-up. I don't know if you caught, Damian Priest actually bowed and clapped for Hardy. And then, we got a promo with Hardy saying that going to SmackDown, you're going to see a difference. It's a perfect opportunity for people to see a different side and a different ego to him. He did say that. Then Austin Theory comes out saying that he's a fanboy, saying that he was inspired by Jeff Hardy and wanted to take a picture. But what ends up happening, he attacks Jeff Hardy and then takes a selfie while Jeff Hardy's laying down in the middle of the ring. What are your thoughts on this?
I got to say that this was the best Austin Theory that I've seen since last year when he was on Raw and everyone forgot, and he is reimagining back on Raw, which is a total lie because this was bad. This was bad. I'll tell you this. The fact that he attacked Jeff Hardy after the promo helped, but if he was just a fanboy, just fanning out, that would have been really, really bad. I like the thing with Jeff Hardy.
Cringe.
Yeah, it was kind of cringe. It was almost as though they were kind of make funning of fans. Maybe the marks. I don't know. It is what it is. But Jeff Hardy's thing, maybe it might go to the return of Brother Nero, but they are not going to use that because Vince McMahon likes to do his own spin. So it might be Brother Ego. Maybe.
What about Nero? I mean, what about Willow? They teased it. I think it was last year. No, it was the year prior, 2019. They teased it when he was feuding with Sheamus with that face paint.
Oh, yeah.
Then they didn't do anything with that.
Yeah.
So then after that, we got an RK Bro segment backstage, which basically we find out that RK Bro is going to face AJ Styles and Almost at Crown Jewel. And Randy Orton wants to have the opportunity to finally shut up AJ Styles and Almost, and then challenges Almost to a match. What were your thoughts on this?
It was okay.
Michael.
Everything up until this point, I gotta tell you, nothing's really blown my mind except for the fact that Becky Lynch is a psychic. So other than that, it was okay. I guess the big thing is, will Almost accept Randy Orton's challenge?
Dun, dun, dun. All right. So then after that, we get round 2 of the draft picks, and the drip god Seth freaking Rollins gets drafted over to Monday Night Raw. Number 2, the Intercontinental Champion King Nakamura alongside Rick Boogs gets drafted to SmackDown. And I think this was pretty obvious. The United States Champion Damian Priest gets drafted over to Monday Night Raw. And last but certainly not least, Sheamus is going to SmackDown. What were your thoughts on this?
The picture they used for Sheamus was so funny. He looks like a freaking creep in an alley.
Yeah.
I don't know what that. Yeah, it's fine. I really like Damian Priest, and I was really hoping he'd go to SmackDown, but I don't trust Vince with Shinsuke Nakamura because he's blown it before, so it's fine. Fine.
All right. After this, we got a squash match. It was Shayna Baszler versus Dana Brooke. This was a total squash match. But there's something I want to bring up. I don't know if people brought this up or caught this. Corey Graves on commentary. This is why sometimes it's good to pay attention to commentary, even if half the time it's ridiculous what they're saying. But Corey Graves said that Dana Brooke hasn't accomplished anything and has been on Raw and SmackDown for a while now. What are your thoughts on that? He's not wrong.
That's true. I mean, yeah, I would agree. I mean, what has she really done? She started out on Raw as Charlotte Flair's little goon, right?
And that was the most memorable thing she does. She has
done. She joined Titus Worldwide as their mathematician. She then was in a random tag team with, I think, Mandy Rose. And then it was a very short thing. She had this kind of gimmick when she was dating Batista where she was using the Batista bomb, and then that went away. And then that's pretty much
Wasn't she
it.
also in a brief tag match with the Good Brothers?
Yeah, that's true. She had that awful doctor scene where she said the doctor will see you now. I don't know. But yeah, I like Dana Brooke. Like, honestly, she tries so hard. I hear nothing but good things. She's always at the PC Center, and she looks like she tries to improve, but they really don't know what they want to do with her, really.
Yeah, and it's sad because I think Dana Brooke's been on the main roster for almost 5 years now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she has. She has. And her only memorable thing has been being Charlotte's sidekick alongside her Charlotte's dad, Ric Flair.
This is really something that WWE can kind of take from AEW. I don't see why Dana Brooke can't be put in a championship feud on TV. Doesn't have to be a pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
That's just something that AEW does all the time. Is they make championship matches and feuds that build on the TV shows, not necessarily the pay-per-views. And I don't see why Dana Brooke can't be put in a TV feud with the championship. And there's nothing against her, but I don't see why, if Tamina Snuka can get a championship match on SmackDown against Bayley, why can't Dana Brooke get a shot? So.
But you know what screwed Dana Brooke is that Vince had high hopes for her. He saw her as a female Roman Reigns, and then when he lost faith in her, her push just stopped.
Once again, they really don't know what do they want her to do. She seems very strong. She does all of these fitness competitions, and she does the Batista bomb. She looks very strong, and then she's doing like Jeff Hardy's Swanton bomb. She's very acrobatic. It's like, what do they want her to be? Like they're very confused on what they want her to do. She technically can't cut a promo to save her life, but it's there are other people on the roster who don't know how to cut promos, but still are in the spotlight. So I don't know. That's freaking Corey Graves. He cares about no one else but Carmella. So
Yeah. So anywho, of course, Shayna Baszler won. She won by submission. And then Doudrop, of all people, comes out, gets in her face, and hopes Shayna broke. And then Shayna attacks the Doudrop, and they have that moment where they look at each other, like in the face.
Oh, yeah. Kevin Dunn with the town on the camera tops. He was like, camera 1, camera 2. Camera 1, camera 2. Should I do another one? Camera 2.
But what would you think of a potential Shayna Baszler versus Doudrop feud?
I like it. I don't want to jump the gun, but Shayna's going to SmackDown. It's a draft pick that I was actually really, really happy about. And what a way to make her look strong by taking down someone who's quite, a very big wrestler. So you want to send her off to SmackDown going like, oh, this person is a real killer. She just took down someone who's like, twice her size. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I feel you. That would have been an interesting feud when you think about it, though. It would have been.
Yeah. And at this time, like they reminded us a million times on Raw, that this draft doesn't take place until October 22nd. So don't forget, they got tons of times to do these random matches to put people over before they go to different brands.
Exactly. All right. So then after that, we got Mansoor and Mustafa Ali versus Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. Personally, I have to say Angel Garza is pretty attractive. I liked when he ripped off his pants, but that was just me, This is actually also another quick match. And Carrillo attacked Mansoor on the outside, and that allowed Angel Garza and him to pick up the win. What were your thoughts on this match?
It was good. These guys have chemistry. It's a shame that they, I think this feud, once again, not to jump the gun, I think they're both got drafted to SmackDown, I think. I'm pretty sure, right? I think Mustafa Ali and who's his tag team partner? I forgot. Mansoor, I'm sorry. I think they got drafted to SmackDown during night 1, and I think Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo got drafted to SmackDown too, right?
I think we're about to go over that right now.
Oh, sorry.
Hold on. So after that, we learned what round 3 of the draft picks are. We learned AJ Styles and Omos are shock going on Monday Night Raw. Shayna Baszler going over to SmackDown. Kevin Owens coming over to Raw. And Zia, right? Zia Lee coming over to SmackDown. What were your thoughts on those draft picks?
I thought this was a really good round, probably the best draft round of the night. AJ Styles and Omos going to Monday Night Raw doesn't surprise me at all. A rumor that backstage AJ Styles does not get along with Paul Heyman because he thinks Paul Heyman was involved in getting the club sent their release papers. So yeah, don't expect AJ Styles and Paul Heyman to ever be on the same show. Kevin Owens, he's going to get buried to the ground on Raw until he leaves in January. So to AEW.
Yeah, he is.
Zia Lee, she is a very, very good improved wrestler. She was like probably my favorite improved wrestler in the Mae Young Classic #2. Just stay away from that stupid NXT gimmick where was trained by a 1,000-year-old lizard, and we should be fine. And probably
Are you serious?
Yeah, you don't watch NXT anymore, but she had a gimmick on NXT where she was trained by this. Not only this 1,000-year-old woman, she's a 1,000-year-old lizard woman. And
God.
It is what it is. Keep her away from that gimmick and you'll be fine. And Shayna Baszler, she needs to go to SmackDown. I think they could do a lot of good stuff for her.
It could have been a worser gimmick, though. So,
yeah.
All right. So after that, we get Biggie, our WWE champion, come out and said that he's felt great being on Raw tonight because, that's his show. And he said that it's the second year in a row that the New Day, unfortunately, gets split up in the draft. He says that he had a grueling physical match against Bobby Lashley and proved that he's a rightful WWE champion. He says that he wanted to deal with No Joke in disguise, a two-time WWE champion, and calls out Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre comes out and says that even though he got drafted over to SmackDown, he has some unfinished business to attend to on Raw, and says that Biggie deserves to be champion and that he earned his respect, and that he technically cashed in on an Angel Lashley. Technically, no one likes Lashley, and technically did the world a favor. And McIntyre officially issued the challenge to Biggie, which we found out might take place at Crown Jewel, which I'm not going to watch because I'm going to be at work because of the time difference. And then something happens. It's the Dirty Dawgz, Dolph Ziggler, and Bobby Roode come out, see that they're waiting to get drafted. And Ziggler actually liked this part of the promo. Ziggler says that it wasn't for him, McIntyre and Drew McIntyre and Big E would be nobodies, because Dolph Ziggler mentions that Big E was his bodyguard, and about how when Drew McIntyre returned, he was teaming up with Dolph Ziggler. What were your thoughts on that?
I think it's great that they finally brought some continuity into the WWE universe, even though they forgot the fact that Charlotte did face Bianca Belair a year ago in NXT, and they're advertising it's the first time ever. So, great. I thought there was some good stuff in this promo. I did like Dolph Ziggler's parts. I think he's incredibly underrated. Do I think he's ever going to be champion again? No, not really. But I like this part. But I felt like this segment went for way too long.
Definitely.
To set up a match. So
we'll get into that.
Oh, by the way, so that's weird. Who do you think is going to win between Big E from Raw and Drew McIntyre from SmackDown for the Raw WWE Championship? Could it be the guy who is drafted to Raw and who has the WWE Raw main championship, or is it that
Randy
guy
Viper
from SmackDown?
Says, Michael, NXT does not exist anymore. NXT is dead and never happened.
That's true, because now we get NXT 2.0.
Yes. So to continue on, like you said, this promo went on way longer than it did. McIntyre calling himself the Big D, and Bobby Roode calling himself Big Bob. What was it?
Big Bob. Big D.
Something about like that. But of course, in the spirit of Teddy Long, we got ourselves a tag team match now. Playa holla! It was the Dirty Dawgz versus Biggie and Drew McIntyre.
The Big E and the Big D. Come on, you gotta sell those T-shirts. Come on.
Oh my god. So, like I said, that led to a match between them, which I thought it wasn't a bad match. It really wasn't. The problem is, like I said, it was a random tag team match. Player, holla. But of course, one spot that I did like was when Biggie stopped Ziggler from doing the zigzag. And then, of course, Big E and Drew McIntyre were victorious. What are your thoughts on the match? Michael, what were your thoughts on the match? Oh no, Michael. I think he froze. Michael froze for everybody. Oh well. It was an okay match. It really was. Was it the best? No, it wasn't. But I mean, I think we pretty much knew that's what this was going. I mean, WWE always likes to do random tag match. I think Michael froze. He did freeze. Is he back? No, he's not back. Ooh. But what were your guys' thoughts on this match? Give me 1 second while I change my layout. Oh no, Steve. Yeah. What I was saying. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious Big E is winning at Crown Jewel. There's no ands or buts about it. He's definitely winning. because he's on Raw and Drew McIntyre is on SmackDown. I'm actually quite disappointed in that because I was really looking forward to seeing Big E versus Big E versus Drew McIntyre. But since Drew McIntyre did go to SmackDown, I think it's pretty obvious Big E's going to win and retain. But regardless, I feel like that would have been the outcome, even if Drew McIntyre would have stayed on Raw. So that's that. All right. Then after that, we got a Kevin Owens segment. Actually, he didn't even get a chance to say anything because Aikra Towaza randomly comes out. Yeah, randomly comes out saying he wanted to challenge for the 24/7 title. And Kevin Owens basically gives him a Stone Cold Stunner. This segment was totally pointless and a waste of time. I mean, they could have filled this little bit of TV time with something else. What do you guys think? But honestly, they were probably just looking, I don't know, they probably just wanted to, I don't even know what was the whole point. Oh. And please welcome back Michael. Hey Michael, what happened?
You know, I apologize. It was most likely me. Where I live in a part of the city where there's a whole bunch of trees and there's not a lot of cell towers where I live, so the internet is not so good. So apologies. I hope you did good while I was away, and
I tried my best, but you know.
Nah, you did good.
So I wanted to get your thoughts on the tag match between the Dirty Dawgz, Biggie, and Drew McIntyre.
It was okay. I thought the tag team match on SmackDown was better. It did what it needed to do. I hope that it's once again, we do have to, much like Raw, say that this whole draft picks won't go into effect until Friday, October 22nd. But until then, I feel like Big E, he could have a couple more matches with Dolph, maybe. It would not surprise me at all if next week Dolph Ziggler versus Big E in the singles match, and then the week after that, it's Drew McIntyre versus Ziggler in a singles match.
What are your thoughts on the pointless Kevin Owens segment after that followed this?
So I didn't actually catch that because my internet went out. Wasn't it just Kevin Owens just gives a stunner to Aikra Towaza and that's it?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I had watched Raw Talk after this, and the two hosts that was going over the scene, they were just talking about how Kevin Owens was not interested. It looked like he was kind of bored. I'm like, you know what? He's leaving in a couple of months. He was most likely leaving, and I'm not saying that he's looking like someone who doesn't care, but he's a guy who knows he's pretty much going to leave. So,
yeah, I think he's just writing out his contract at this point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what do you do when they basically say, "Hey, Kevin, why don't you go out there? We're going to put you in a segment with Aikra Towaza. You're going to give him the stunner because people still like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then that's it. Don't do anything else. We know you're going to leave." If you remember when Dean Ambrose left several years ago, they put him in weird segments. At one point, he was feuding with Nia Jax.
To be honest, I don't know. People might want to throw tomatoes at me for saying this, but I actually kind of wanted to see how that would have played out. Nia Jax versus Dean Ambrose? Yeah,
if you know Jon Moxley, he's a professional. If they would have said Nia Jax is gonna go over you in a match, he would have done it. It's just that they did what they did because he knew he was gonna leave, and most likely, don't be surprised that they basically bury Kevin Owens until he leaves in January. So
yeah. No, if Jon Moxley wasn't leaving WWE, I actually wanted to see that. Because we haven't had intergender wrestling in WWE in probably the longest time. So I think it would have been interesting to see that. But of course, it was just it would have been just to humiliate Jon Moxley. But if he wasn't leaving, it probably would have made for an interesting feud. At least I think so. So after this, we get the fourth round of draft picks. It's the Street Profits to Raw.
Mm-hmm.
The Viking Raiders to SmackDown.
Do they still work here? Okay.
Finn Balor to Raw. And the one and only Ricochet to SmackDown, which I'm actually hoping it works out for him. He hasn't done much of anything on Raw, so I'm hoping going to SmackDown will be fresh and we get to see something out of Ricochet.
I think, SmackDown's been the preferred number one show, even better than NXT now. So I think they can think of stuff to do with Ricochet. So hopefully, maybe he needs
can feud
character
with
change.
Nakamura.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, maybe a heel turn. It
A
worked for
little heel
Apollo
turn.
Crews. Yeah,
Yeah.
it worked for Apollo Crews. Why not?
Yeah, and it's funny how like it worked for Roman Reigns.
Exactly. It would not surprise me at all if they say, "Oh, Ricochet's in the bloodline. He is Roman Reigns' third cousin on his mother's side." Please welcome Ricochet to the bloodline.
Third cousin, twice removed.
Twice removed. Yeah, perfect.
All right. So then after this, we get a women's tag team title match. It is Nikki, A.s.h, and Rhea Ripley, who I believe are now being called Super Brutality, versus Nattie and Tamina. What are your thoughts on this match?
It's the rematch I've been wanting for several years, or 2 weeks ago. So yeah, perfect, great.
This match is totally pointless, honestly.
I know.
Totally pointless. I don't know what was the whole. I didn't even take. If I should show you my note, it's literally one line. Well, two. When you get the one note I took, and then the winner. So there's no disrespect to the ladies. It's just
it was there
booking.
to fill time.
Yeah,
I don't know what else to
booking.
say. Yep.
All right. In the 5th round, we got Karrion Kross. Poor him. Staying on Raw. Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo are going over to SmackDown. I'm a little iffy about this. Not because I don't. Not saying that they shouldn't have gone to SmackDown. I'm just iffy because even though I think SmackDown is a better choice, I can't see them actually becoming tag team champions on SmackDown unless they get those titles off the Usos.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they had a better shot becoming Raw tag team champions and taking the titles away from Arcade Bro than the Usos. Now, unless the Usos lose the titles to somebody else, and then Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo down the road take the titles off that team, then I can see them being tag team champions. But for right now, I just don't think they're going to become tag champions anytime soon.
The division looks good, but we'll have to wait and see. We know Vince doesn't like tag teams, and he doesn't love the women's division, so it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard with this draft and going like, oh, that's great, but we know what Vince likes.
I just hope that Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza do get a chance to become tag team champions, and it's not a Breezango situation.
Yeah. So yeah.
Referencing to the fact that I still believe Breezango should have won the SmackDown tag titles at Backlash 2017 against the Usos because they were over. They should have won, even if it would have been a short title reign. They should have won, but they weren't. They didn't.
They became tag team champions in NXT. So
yeah, NXT, but all right, moving on. We get Bobby Lashley and Goldberg segment. Bobby Lashley and Goldberg. Goldberg says that Lashley has the audacity to claim that his attack on Goldberg's son was a mistake. And that, what is he? And he wants to break Bobby Lashley's neck. And then Lashley comes out and says that it was all just one big giant misunderstanding. Steve Callahan says, blah, Goldberg. And he says that he doesn't want to ruin his suit, which is why he's not going in there. And agrees to give Goldberg a match on one condition. The condition being that it's no holds barred.
So does that mean that if Goldberg commits actual murder, that he won't be arrested? Right?
I guess.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Speaking of murder, Goldberg says that it gives him a license to kill and apologizes to Lashley's kids beforehand and saying that Lashley is next and dead. And then the Hurt Business attacks Goldberg. What are your overall thoughts on this segment?
It was Goldberg giving a typical Goldberg promo. I want to give him a clap that he actually remembered everything. And yeah, is it me or is WWE becoming a lot more violent? Like, was it Roman Reigns says leave Paul Heyman for dead? Goldberg saying he's gonna kill Bobby Lashley. It's weird. I thought those were like words in the WWE book that they can't use, but hey, whatever. We might actually see an actual murder in Crown Jewel. So, we'll see. This coming from a guy who couldn't beat Bobby Lashley during their last match because Bobby Lashley hit him with a chair and Goldberg said he couldn't continue. And yeah.
I was there, Michael. I was there.
There you go.
I was there. Got pictures and video. I was there. I don't need to be reminded.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Oh, I forgot to take notes on this, but there's a backstage segment. Before we continue on to the next match, there was a backstage segment. It might have been after this. I don't know. But it was basically the Heyman and the Usos getting interviewed and saying that he was the warden of the bloodline of the, basically of the Uso Penitentiary. And then the interviewer asked him, is that why Brock Lesnar has free agent status? And the Usos just look at him like, So I like that they're still continuing that storyline even on Raw. What are your thoughts on that?
What? Just beat him up? Can you really trust this guy? I mean, okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. And people in the chat room, let me know if I'm correct. Maybe I'm the one who's wrong. But a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown, Brock Lesnar came out and he said that why didn't you tell Roman that I was going to be at SummerSlam? And Roman Reigns walked out of the ring. Paul Heyman stayed, and then he started announcing his client. He goes, the defending, the monster, this and that. I'm like, okay, well, Paul Heyman has now chosen to be on Brock Lesnar's side, and Brock Lesnar's like, hey, before Roman fires you, make the match between me and him. And so it's weird that they did that. It's like Paul Heyman, in that very moment in the ring, seemed like he was on Brock Lesnar's side, and then now they make it seem like he's not, and they're kind of like, it's I don't know what to say. I don't know.
It might be Jeff.
Yeah, there you go. Everyone please forget that.
You're supposed to forget that happened.
It's freaking ridiculous. I don't know.
But I remember that. And then he gives them an F5, I think.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know what to say other than the fact that almost like close to a decade ago, it was Brock Lesnar defending the WWE Championship against Big Show. And Paul Heyman, who was his agent at the time, said, Brock, you're not going to beat the Big Show, even though Brock's done it dozens of times. And for whatever reason, during Survivor Series, Brock Lesnar was beating the ish out of Big Show, and Paul Heyman turned on him, which made no sense because your client was winning. So, I don't know. If Paul Heyman turns on Roman Reigns, then Roman Reigns is the stupidest idiot ever because he knew this was going to happen. So, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. All right. Then we got the New Day versus the Hurt Business in the form of Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. I don't know why they gave us this match on Raw. This is a match that you should build to, and it should happen at Survivor Series. It could be Team Hurt Business versus Team New Day, which would be the first time in a while that we have a traditional 5-on-5 match that is not about brand supremacy.
Because we got an entire month to do that.
Oh God, here it goes. Watch, they're gonna start building to it.
Yeah, let's get to the winner. By the way, who won? Was it the team of the New Day,
guess.
Or was it the tag team that just got beat up by Goldberg literally like 10 minutes ago?
Take a guess.
Okay, well in that case, Hurt Business.
And the New Day.
What? All right, fair enough.
The New Day actually won. And then the Street Profits, who we found out earlier in the night, got drafted over to Raw, come out and congrats the New Day and on their movie Escape the Undertaker, which apparently is coming out on Netflix pretty soon. Are you going to watch Escape the Undertaker?
Wait, so I'm a little bit confused. What is this movie about? Is it them? Is it a fictional story about them going to the Undertaker's house? And then it's like a horror movie?
Yeah, basically.
Is it supposed to be a comedy?
and interactive. So you pick their fate.
Oh. Sure.
The Street Profits ruined it. Steve Callahan saying that. Ruin what? The segment?
Yeah, I think I know where Steve Callahan is coming from. Honestly, they keep plugging the fact that, by the way, this whole drafting, the whole roster thing doesn't go into effect until Friday, October 22nd, the day after Crown Jewel. But they seem like they were trying to do so much on this episode as though the draft goes into effect tomorrow. Does that make sense? They try to throw so much into the show as though the draft takes effect tomorrow. But I'm like, you have until the rest of the month. So it seems like so much stuff was crammed. It's like, did you forget that people watch this show? So you had to throw everyone on the show and say, hey, by the way, these are everyone who's on this show, in case you guys stopped watching, which is me, by the way. So
poor Michael. I apologize for torturing you for this.
Nah, it's okay. I forgot what it was like to fall asleep during Monday Night Raw, so thank you.
So I take it you're not going to go to Monday Night Raw when they're in the Bay Area next week in San Francisco, California?
Well, if I'm not going to go to the SmackDown that is in my hometown next week, then no, I'm not going to go to Monday Night Raw.
You're better off going to SmackDown.
Honestly, if the draft was on SmackDown this week in my hometown, and if there wasn't a global epidemic going on, I might have actually gone. But
really,
yeah,
cool. All right. Well, after that, we got a Randy Orton segment. Hey, at least you're getting Raw and SmackDown. Sheesh, they completely skipped us when they came last time.
You guys get WrestleMania next year, so. I'm sorry, next year.
Yeah, and apparently we're getting a Super Bowl.
Oh, good, cool.
So after that, we get a
the
Randy
XFL Super Bowl. XFL Super Bowl.
Jump the rails on the go. LL. Swershio says to jump the rails.
Nah.
Yeah. All right. No, not the XFL Super Bowl. The actual Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. Cool.
All right. So next we get a Randy Orton segment, basically saying that he wants to go one-on-one with Almost and wonders if he's AJ's BITCH.
Oh, you can say it, Taylor. Come on.
Oh,
all the cool people on WWE are doing it. I love it how they always emphasize the B. Every superstar who says that word, it's like, Almost, are you gonna accept my challenge, or are you just AJ's bitch? It's almost as though Vince says, you gotta make sure you say the B. Emphasize the B.
All right. He wonders if he's AJ's bitch. There, I said it.
Yeah.
Said it. And since that, and then AJ Styles and Almost come out, said that they were celebrating. Styles went over Riddle. And Styles says that he's excited that they're both on Raw because after they defeat RK Bro, they're going to rub in the tag titles in their face constantly. And then Orton attacks Styles and he gets RKO'd. What are your thoughts on this segment?
I'm confused on whether or not this was a setup or Randy Orton challenged someone, RKO'd someone else, and then jumped out of the ring and left. So, yeah. It's a 3-hour show. They got to fill something. Are we going to get Randy Orton versus Almost next week? Hopefully not. Because, dude, this Almost, I don't know what everyone's talking about. The commentators say he's something amazing, which I don't agree with. Freaking Kevin Nash was on the Stone Cold Broken Skull session the other week, and he said that Almost is like the next big thing. This guy he needs a lot of work.
At least Almost doesn't tear his quad.
Yeah, fair enough. Ouch. Sorry, Kevin. No, honestly, this is really nothing against Almost because I think he has no experience prior to signing with WWE, but the way that he is, he's basically the Great Khali. He's a big, tall guy. He's very limited in the ring.
Steve Callahan says Almost sucks.
He does suck. I mean, let's be honest. Like, I remember what was his debut match? It was at WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, WrestleMania.
I remember like so many people, like I was listening to other podcasts. They're like, Almost was great, this and that. It's like he did these planned spots, which they probably had him do thousands of times at the PC Center.
Steve Callahan says Khali 2.0.
There you go. I mean, I don't understand how you you keep someone like Omos and you release someone like Braun Strowman, a guy who's much better in the ring, who's a lot more agile. Sure, his contract was over $1 million, but if they release Braun Strowman thinking that Omos can take his place, they are in some big trouble here.
Oh, Michael, you're gonna hate me for saying this, but I actually liked Omos' debut match at WrestleMania. I think that they did a good job establishing him as a monster. I mean, he basically was dominating the New Day, and they've been protecting him as of late because whenever Omos and Styles are in a tag match and they lose, it's always because of Styles. Styles is always the one taking the pin. He almost has yet to be pinned.
Yeah, I totally dig your opinion. The thing is, it's the circumstances surrounding Omos. He has to be with AJ Styles, and he has to be in the ring with the right people. You know, WrestleMania looked good because he's with the New Day, right? New Day can make him look like, $1,000. So,
Steve. Yeah, that's true. So after this segment, we get the final round of the draft. We learned that the most beautiful woman, Carmella, is coming over to Monday Night Raw. And of course, Corey Graves is excited about that.
why is he excited?
Because aren't they dating in real life?
Really? Whoa! Tune in next season on Total Divas. Is that show still going?
No, it ended.
Oh, shocker.
Then, from NXT, Ridge Holland is getting drafted over to SmackDown.
Cool.
And here's the shocker. Gable Stevenson is going over to Monday Night Raw, and they actually showed him at his house celebrating with his parents.
Chad Gable got drafted again?
No, Gable Stevenson.
Gable Steves? The Olympic gold medalist?
Yeah.
This amazing NCAA champion, this Olympic gold medalist who they think is the next Kurt Angle, went, let's see here, last in the draft?
Second to last.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, technically, he was the last Raw pick.
Oh, good. Good.
And
I love it on Raw Talk. They're like, oh, wow, he's the next Kurt Angle. This is great. And it's like, yeah, I went in the last round of the draft. And I love it how they try to set up the whole he's at his house. They try to make it big like an NBA or an NFL type draft where the family's like, yeah, it was just him, his dad, and his mom. Cool.
And the final draft pick of the evening was none other than Mr. Conspiracy himself.
John Cena.
Sami Zayn going over to SmackDown. Steve Callahan saying lame. What was lame?
I think Steve was talking about Gable Stevenson being involved in the draft. They did it just for publicity. I guarantee you go on Yahoo tomorrow, that website, it's going to be WWE Drafts Olympic gold medalist who is not Kurt Angle because they released him in the draft. Woo!
Who didn't win a gold medal with a broken freaking neck.
You know, he did not. And as far as I know, it's
Clobbering time?
Yeah, yes, it's clobbering time.
Or is it morphin time?
It's morphin time. It's clobbering time. It's Gable time.
I wish I had my morpher on me so I could have just been like, it's morphin time.
There you go. By the way, I just realized that Gable Stevenson and Chad Gable is on the same brand. So, Vince cannot have two people named Gable. So expect the return of
Shorty G.
Shorty G's coming back, baby.
Yeah. Shorty G. All right. And the main event of the evening was Bianca Belair versus Charlotte in what was being claimed as the first ever encounter between the two of them. But as we all know, that is a lie. They wrestled each other in NXT. I actually thought it was, Steve Callahan says, Shorty G, no, I'll riot.
Get the Space Jam shorts.
So the match was okay. It wasn't a bad match, but I don't agree with the ending. Of course, I saw it coming. There was no way they were going to allow Bianca Belair to pin Charlotte. So Becky Lynch gets involved, and then Sasha gets involved, attacking Becky Lynch. And correct me if I'm wrong, but we've never really had a proper Sasha Banks Becky Lynch feud, have we?
I think they did in NXT, but like
I wasn't
everyone says
watching
NXT. Yeah, NXT doesn't exist. So
MIB, Jiff.
there you go. So yeah. By the way, it's crazy to think that all 4 horsewomen are currently heel. All of them. Charlotte is currently heel. Becky's technically considered heel. Sasha, she was feuding with Bianca Belair, so she's technically heel. And Bayley, before she got injured, was heel. So all 4 horsewomen are heel.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
Oh, by the way, so I brought up, so on Friday we did night 1 of the draft, and I said that Becky Lynch on commentary was so bad. And tonight we got part 2 because man, oh man, was that commentary so bad and distracting. It took away from the match. I like Becky, but on commentary, she is not good. Seriously, not good. Really distracting. Did no favors for anyone. So yeah.
So overall, that concluded Raw. What would you rate Monday Night Raw on a scale of 1 to 5 and 1 to 10?
1 to 5, 1 to 10. Chat room, put it in the chat. I gotta be completely honest. For the part of Raw that I was awake for, I would give it. No. You think I'm kidding, but no lie. I actually fell asleep during the Dolph Ziggler and Big E segment because it went for so long. I'm sorry. This was for your show, for being on your show. I haven't watched a full 3-hour episode of Raw in a long, long time. I forgot how long it was. I don't know how you do it every single week, but they really need, and regardless of what JBL says, they use the 3rd hour for money from the ads and stuff. They need to bring it back to 2 hours, dude. 3 hours is way too long. Oh,
well, be thankful we don't watch it on our West Coast time because you'd be asleep right now.
I know. No way I'm doing that. Yikes. Yeah.
You'd be asleep. You'd be asleep if you would watch Raw on the West Coast time. And I'll be honest, before I switched cable providers, I used to watch Raw on West Coast time. By this time, I was already laying down. I'm sorry. I was not going to torture myself staying up to 11 p.m. On a Monday. I don't know how my friends on the East Coast do it. I really don't. I give them mad props to Swerve, Steve, Rose, all of them. They're on the East. I don't know how they do it. I honestly don't know. I give them mad props for doing it because I didn't want to do it. That was before I even started reviewing shows, or even before I joined YouTube. Like I couldn't do it the 3 hours.
I couldn't do it either. I didn't know how I did as a kid. Jeez.
Yeah, same here. I wonder maybe because we didn't realize the show sucked.
No, hey, barely. To be fair, back then Raw was kind of good, so I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. I'll stay up for this. But now when it's bad, and yeah. But anyway, I would give the score of, honestly. So I gave SmackDown a 4 out of 5. So I'm gonna give Raw 2 out of 5. I'm sorry.
2 out of 5?
No, here's the thing. I would have given it a 3 out of 5, but I'm a huge. I really don't like it when the main event ends in DQ. I really don't. It should never end in DQ, especially the main event. Because in my personal opinion, the ending of not just Raw, not just SmackDown, any TV show out there, okay, where they're watching Walking Dead, one of the NCIS, right? The end of the show, you want to satisfy your fans so they will tune in next week for an episode. But when they end with a DQ, you're like, that makes the difference between Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown actually had an ending to the match. Fair enough, right? Raw, they're like, nah, you know how bad we are. DQ. So there you go.
Steve Callahan, 3 out of 5, 3 out of 10. Actually, the 3 out of 5 is pretty high.
Yeah, it's a fair score.
Yeah,
I got it. This wasn't one of the worst drafts I've seen in a while, and if I can be completely honest, I agree with Steve. This wasn't one of the worst Raws I've seen in a couple of episodes. Yeah. So I give it
Bobby
that. Yeah.
Lashley's sister say hello.
Hello.
Yeah. I would give it. Yeah, I'm gonna be generous and give it a 2.5 out of 5, just because there were some, I liked Jeff Hardy versus Damian Priest. I like that.
Good.
I liked the Ziggler part of his promo, him acknowledging that if it wasn't for him, Big E and Drew McIntyre would not be where they are. I like that, but it went on a little too long. They should have just cut straight to the chase, you know?
Here's the thing. Raw has a lot of good ideas, but they just can't do the execution.
Steve says, I don't know if I want to watch Raw anymore. Blah.
No one wants to watch Raw. I wouldn't have watched it if it wasn't for your show. So
if I wasn't doing this, I probably would have.
Exactly. I don't know how other people do it. It is what it is. So,
man, yeah. They always find a way to pull me back in. Remember that one time where I said I was going to boycott Raw and I ended up watching it?
We've all at one time said that we were going to boycott Raw.
And we end up watching anyways, do we?
Yeah, There's that triangle, the triangle WWE, watch WWE, get disappointed.
Steve Callahan dropping the microphone saying, I quit, LOL.
Good.
Yeah. So out of 10, I give it a 3 out of 10, like Steve Callahan did. This was an okay Raw. Was it the best Raw? No. But there's been worse Raws in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that being said, Michael, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure reviewing night 1 and 2 of the draft with you. Do you have anything you want to plug and promote?
Before I plug real fast, can I take a couple of seconds real fast? Because I did watch Raw Talk afterwards. There was a supplemental draft that went down. So everyone in the live chat, if you didn't know, several more draft picks went down.
I totally forgot about that. We talked about it before the show. Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Here we go. Are you ready? So, Datila, I want your opinion afterwards, but I'm very quickly going to read this off. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news on Raw Talk. It's been announced that going to Monday Night Raw is Liv Morgan, Dana Brooke, the Dirty Dawgz, Ziggler and Rude, Jackson Riker, Mia Yim, Tamina Snuka, Tegan Knox, the Hurt Locker, Veer, so he's been broken up from Jinder Mahal, if anyone cares, and The Miz, who didn't end up on the live drafts, which I'm very shocked because he's on Dancing with the Stars, and you know how WWE likes to publicize that ish out of it. I think they even gave a promotion for Miz tonight, right? They said vote for The Miz tonight. Surprised he didn't go live in the draft. Did you vote for The Miz? I don't watch Dancing with the Stars.
Me neither.
And I don't believe in like voting for someone just for the sake of it. Oh. If he's good, no, I'll vote for him, but I'll vote for him if he's good. He's probably good. I think he's still on the show. I don't think he's been eliminated yet, but yeah. So that's everything for Raw. Going to SmackDown. Shotzi Blackheart, Natalya, which means Natalia's been broken up, and Jinder Mahal and Shanky. And here's a little bit more. The people who went undrafted, that means they were not part of the draft, which means they're considered free agents and means that they have not decided what to do with them. Here we go. This is the injury list. So not drafted due to injury. Asuka due to an arm injury. Bayley because she tore her ACL. MVP because he had injured his knee. Lacey Evans because she's currently pregnant. Now the people who legitimately...
I thought she gave birth already.
She did, but she's going to be on maternity leave. So... and these are legit the people who went undrafted, not because of real life injury, because they simply don't know what to do with him. Elias has gone undrafted. No surprises here. Eva Marie has gone undrafted. Lucha House Party, they want to leave WWE. This is no surprise.
Just just Grandma Elite. Lindsay Dorado didn't ask for his release.
Yeah, that's good. WWE, in a way, it's the place to be. Shane Thorne, a.k.a. Slapjack. And I'm surprised at this one, Titus O'Neil, because I've always been a fan of Titus O'Neil. As long as he doesn't grab anyone's arms on the way out, he'll be fine. So, yeah. So, yep. Those are the people.
Wait a second. Why is Titus O'Neil even on there? I thought he wasn't wrestling. I thought he was just doing ambassador work. If that's the case, David Otunga should be on that list, too.
It's so weird. Like some people just quietly, I think at one point, right? Alicia Fox quietly was gone from the company, or she was like literally on WWE, and a month later she was on Raw's Legends Night as a legend. I'm like, wait a minute, wasn't Alicia? Yeah, that's WWE for you. And I think Mickie James quietly was pushed to the Legends section, even though she was literally on Raw. So it's weird. It is what it is. Titus O'Neil, I mean, I always say this. Titus O'Neil, for me, is Batista if he never joined Evolution. Because they're both around the same kind of built heights, and they both had the same moveset, but it's just too bad for Titus. I've always been a fan of Titus. Bring back Titus Worldwide. Give Dana Brooks something to do. Give Akira
They should have
Tozawa
brought back
something
the
to do.
time. They should have never set up the prime time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I will say this. It's crap. Boy, I lost my train of thought. You said that Tegan Knox and Shotzi got split up. The women's tag team division is non-existent, and they split up 2 teams.
Mm-hmm.
They split up. They actually even split up Doudrop and Eva Marie before they even got a challenge for the tag team titles. You know, they split up Tamina and Nattie. How many women's tag teams are left? I mean, did they just form one today with Doudrop and Dana Brooke?
It's so bad that NXT says we want nothing to do with you, and they created their own tag team belts because it's like you guys are doing nothing for the belts. It was just a thing for WWE to be like, hey, you know how you wanted these women's tag team championship? Well, here it is. We're not going to do anything with it, but here it is. So there you go.
They're just an accessory.
Exactly. You know how you always wanted a Queen of the Ring? We're going to give it to you. We're not going to call it Queen of the Ring because that's for the men. We're going to call it the what do they call it? The woman's crown. Because it's at Crown Jewel. So cool. There you go. That's the expression I was looking for. That's exactly why Vince goes, you see, no one is interested in these women. Look at that Teal. She's not even interested. Scrap the women's division.
No, and it's because, look, it's not that, me being a female, it's the ladies, there's potential there. The problem is that WWE isn't using them. This whole women's evolution thing, that was just a gimmick. That's just a gimmick for them. The women's evolution doesn't exist beyond the 4 horsewomen. You want to know why last year Sasha Banks and Bayley were the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion respectively, and why they were the tag team champions? You want to know why? It's because Becky Lynch was pregnant and Charlotte was out with an injury. If those 2 weren't out, they would not have been in the spotlight. They would not have been front and center in the women's division. They would have been pushed to the side because of Becky and Charlotte. Now they've given Bianca BelAir a chance, sort of, but there's so much that they can do with the women. Do you remember back in 2016, we used to talk about this, Michael, how they had 3 feuds going into Backlash and everybody was doing something and they only had 6 women.
Yeah.
And it's just like they don't know what to do with them outside of Charlotte, outside of Becky, outside of Sasha, outside of Bianca. They could care less about the women.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, there's once this time a long time ago. I mean, this was going way back where, what was it? Michelle McCool once had a match with, I believe it was Melina, and it was so good that when they went to the back, they said, don't do that again, or they said slow it down or something.
That.
It's crazy. If you want any more proof that there's only been one all women's pay-per-view and it's only been one time and they're never going to have it again. Most people are going to be like, oh, because, they didn't sell enough tickets. Doesn't matter. They don't care. Vince does not like the women's division, and he doesn't like tag team division. So where do you think when they put that 2 together and you get a women's tag team, you really think Vince is interested in that? Definitely
exactly.
Not. He doesn't care.
Exactly. He
doesn't care.
And don't get me wrong. We've come a long way for the women's division. I mean, at least now they're having 10-minute matches, not like before. Like, you would literally get up to go get a snack. By the time you come back, the match was done. You get me?
Yeah.
At least they're doing so. At least now they're having longer matches. Women's tag belts, just trash them, like Medusa did to the women's title.
Here's the thing. The women's tag team belt was a good concept, but they never used it. They first promoted it as a tri-brand thing. And at one point, this is a true story. At one point, the first ever champions, Sasha Banks and Bayley, right? They literally went to SmackDown and they went to NXT and they even went to a live taping of NXT UK and they were just sitting in the crowd. They were as champions going to all of these brands to promote the belt and they never got a chance to do anything with it because they simply don't care. Vince doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe Sasha Banks and Bayley were the only team to go down to NXT because everybody else did it. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Nobody else went down there. And it's just a joke, honestly. You know, like I said, it's a gimmick. It's a real gimmick.
Yeah. I don't know what to say other than, I mean, the hashtag give divas a chance. And Stephanie McMahon says, I hear you. It's like, oh, well, obviously you don't. They will only really, really promote the women's division when they need to try and get the fans more interested in there. I mean, come on now. WWE Evolution pay-per-view was a cash grab for them. They didn't care. They knew that they were not going to bring this back. If you guys think that the WWE Queen of the Ring, a.k.a. the Woman's Crown, is actually going to lead to anything big, it's not. Guaranteed.
And I bet you Charlotte's winning that. She's going to be the inaugural champion.
Yeah.
So. I would be shocked if it's not Charlotte.
I would too. And honestly, would not surprise me. Honestly, Charlotte, nah, she's on her way out. I guarantee you, Charlotte, she's not a lifer. She's going to be leaving. Her fiance is in AEW. And if rumors are true, her dad's going to be going to AEW too, except that he got they're holding off on that because of that crazy Dark Side of the Ring episode. So it's just a matter of time, honestly, where Charlotte Flair, she's going to AEW too.
I think she did an interview where she said she wouldn't know if she could succeed outside of WWE because she's been pretty much, she started her career in WWE. She wasn't like Andrade or any of these other rosters that got started elsewhere and then came to WWE. So she said
I think she'll be fine. She's done like TV shows. She's done movies. I mean, I think Charlotte Flair will be fine if she left WWE. And, you know, we make jokes all the time that Charlotte Flair is the John Cena or the Roman Reigns of the women's division. She is so important to them. They know what Charlotte Flair brings, that if she leaves, she goes to AEW, and then she all of a sudden wanted to come back, I guarantee you they would rush at a chance to sign her. She's one of those wrestlers where as long as you don't do anything, you know, kind of...
Or bad mouth?
As long as you keep the peace, Charlotte Flair looks like someone who can honestly go to AEW and then come back if she wanted.
Yeah, so, definitely. Well, it's been fun, Michael. We went into overtime.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course, always a pleasure having you on here. Do you have anything to plug and promote?
Yes, you guys can go ahead and check out my goofy YouTube channel. It is at Michael Chow TV. It's a little bit goofy. I look goofy, but you know, here I do it all for the RVD fans out there. So.
You caught that.
I caught that. By the way, you didn't have to block him. I don't know who he is, but if it is Rob Van Dam, sorry. Big fan. I don't know why you think I look goofy. Sorry. It's just the way
don't tell me a word, but I didn't block him. I just put him in timeout. He couldn't time
nah. Don't block him.
Okay. All right.
I'm a big fan of his 5-star frog splash.
I actually met RVD.
Did you?
I did a whole vlog on it. My highest viewed video, if you haven't checked it out. I watched it. Yeah. So, I know you watched Venom, by the way. Awesome review.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I did watch Venom. I put up a review up yesterday. So if you guys want to check out that review, including that amazing after credit scene, go ahead and check it out. My review for it is non-spoiler, except for the end when I talk about the after credit scene because everyone's talking about it. You guys can check it out on YouTube at Michael Chow TV. So yeah, go check it out.
And that's what makes Michael Chow so different than these other reviewers. He doesn't spoil it for you guys, while everybody else does spoil it. I've seen a lot of his reviews, and he doesn't spoil it for you. And if he does, he does warn spoiler-free, spoiler review.
Thank you.
And he tells you to turn away. So
okay, thank you.
Yes. All right. And as for myself, my schedule is going to change starting next week because I am going to be working full-time starting Monday. So I'm going to be
on Monday Night Raw? How dare you? A blessing in disguise.
So I'm going to have to be starting my shows an hour later than usual, because I'm going to have to catch up on everything that I missed. So, I think you guys, I know it's late, especially on the East Coast. It's 11, 12, 1 in the morning. And thank you guys all so much for watching and for continue to watching. If you guys like Power Rangers, I am starting Legacy of Power LOP, which should debut August 16th after the episode 13 of Power Rangers Dino Fury airs. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday after AEW Dynamite. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live. Bye.
Bye, guys.